3 weeks of summer camp brought about a tremendous change in Niket. I could make a
Welcome, viewers. Welcome to the session of When India. We wish you a very happy Navratri. Today is the fourth day of Navratri, which is dedicated to the goddess Kushmanda. Today's color is yellow. So, the universe is said to have been created just by the flicker of smile of goddess Kushmanda. Her name refers to Ku. The meaning of Ku is little, Ushma meaning warmth, and Anda meaning cosmic egg. According to the Hindu mythology, the entire universe, that is Brahmanda, was created by just flicker of the smile of Ma Kushmanda. She is also known as Ashtabhuja Devi, as she has 8 hands to win over all evil. So, before starting our session, I would like to mention that When India Awards 2022 has been scheduled on 19th November, and the link for registration has been put in the comment box. So, please go to the comment box and get yourself registered. So, today our guest is Lakshmi Nandakumar. Welcome,
hello.
Lakshmi.
Yeah. Hello, Miss Vijaya Lakshmi.
Yeah, welcome to the session. Happy Navratri to you. How are you
Happy
today?
Navratri. Doing great. Doing great as usual.
Good to hear. Good to hear. So, Lakshmi Nandakumar, as you all see, she is a B instrumentation and electronics engineer. She is a trustee, head administration in We Nurture Foundation. Lakshmi's journey as a parent of a child with autism has broadened her perception to be able to view the larger picture and understand parental challenges and needs. She is committed to bring a difference in the lives of children and their families. She is a family counselor. Her personal story helps to connect with other parents. Her advice, therefore, comes from training as well as her personal experience. So we welcome you, Lakshmi, for this extraordinary session, which we'll be talking on, autism and more about it. Welcome to the session.
Thank you very much, When India and Vijay Lakshmi. So there is one catch here: when
Yeah,
Women Empowerment Network, okay, and when We Nurture Foundation.
yeah, there is common interest. Yeah,
Exactly, WEN goes
yeah.
both. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So let us start the session with, we would like to know about you and the origin of We Nurture Foundation. Can you explain on that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So, see, I'm from an engineering background, completed my BE in 2001. So, after which in 2003, I was married. So, and I worked for ISRO as a graduate apprentice trainee. Then I had to join my husband in the US, wherein there was a break in my career, and I was more keen on the family. And, just like any homemaker, I became a full fledged homemaker. So my elder son, Nikhil N. Bharadwaj, who is in second year PUC right now, so he was born in 2005. So just a normal child, okay. So then after that, it so happened like in 2010, my little one was born. So he is Niket N. Bharadwaj, okay. Initially, everything was normal. My pregnancy was normal. There was absolutely no hindrances. So I was extremely occupied and engaged with my elder son, taking him everywhere, during the pregnancy time. And mine was a C-section. Okay. So after my little one was born, his milestones were fine. There was absolutely no problem. He rolled over, and there was good name call response, and everything was fine up to his first year birthday. And after his first year birthday, it so happened, in fact, he didn't fall sick. There was absolutely no problem. But it could be, I don't know what exactly may be the reason. It could be the MMR vaccine. Okay. So once that MMR vaccination was addressed to him, possibly that may be the culprit, wherein, he started regressing in that sense. There was no eye contact, no name call response. Before, at least, like, he used to utter a word or two, but then he was like completely lost in his own world. So not socializing, all by himself, and toe walking and what else and what not. Since he happened to me, my little one, my second child, I had no clue about autism. In fact, in our family history, for that matter, there was no one, who had this kind of challenge. So I felt everything was fine. And when my grandma, for that matter, she said it could be maybe a speech delay and all that. And he used to get fascinated by, the objects rotating. So especially the fan, rotating of the fan and all that. He used to literally, be so happy and start jumping and all that. And that was a time when in 2020, when he was close to 2 years, like 1 year 10 months is the time when I realized I happened to take him for a function, my cousin's engagement. So there a special educator had come for the function, and she said there is something unpleasant with Niket, and that has to be addressed. So the first thing what I did was, like, I had to take him for the Bayer test, for the to rule out the possibility that he doesn't have any hearing issues. So, and I was 100% confident because he was responding so well, especially he used to get very fascinated with the Docomo ad. Okay. So, but whatever, I had to, rule out the possibility. And then, they said there is absolutely, I just underwent the test. There was no problem with the hearing and all that. So then I did consult the pediatric neurologist, and they said, see, there's something which you really have to, do something about Niket. So, and by then it so happened, like, my son had got a seat in the sibling quota in the mainstream school, because my elder one was for, in the mainstream school. So I grabbed that opportunity, thought, okay, let me take it up. So, and I was under the impression, okay, let him go to a normal school, blend with the other children, and perhaps, continue with the therapies here also. So that, of course, was going hand in hand. But that was I don't say exactly it was a blunder, it could be my ignorance during that time. So I almost lost close to 1.5 years. In fact, over there, like, he had appeared for a competition, the puzzle solving competition, and he got second place in a mainstream school. So that was something which, I was really happy about. And I was, like, literally carried away, just like any parent. I wanted him to be in the continue in the mainstream. So on and off, of course, the therapies, the behavioral intervention program and all that was just happening parallelly. But it so happened that, that full-fledged early intervention program was not given to Niket. So he was almost, like, for 4.5 years by then. And then I did realize, that he needs a complete setup, wherein we have to focus on his speech, the basic occupational therapy needs, and the behavioral intervention. So of course there were a couple of concerns which he outgrew. He was not potty trained initially, and I used to literally, carry him. He used to make potty on the bed, on the sofa, and all that. I used to carry him and, take him to the washroom. And a lot of things have happened, but there are, and of course the toe walking. So that used to be there. And as he started growing up, there were a couple of things that it was like, everything came under control, but other concerns started popping up. So when he was and one thing was, like, the speech therapy was happening in one particular center, then I had to take him for the occupational therapy, to another place, Jayanagar, JP Nagar, and Baswangudi, and the behavioral program. So that's how it was, more or less like a roller coaster ride, for the child especially. See, parents anyway, it is still fine, as long as the child improves, we are very happy. So, and he was 7.5, okay, when I got in touch with our founder, managing trustee, Gayatri Anand, who was also a managing trustee in our Space Foundation in Jayanagar 8th block. So, they had this summer camp, and I enrolled Niket in the summer camp. And I was really fascinated by the way, they were working with children. So just in, the 3 weeks of summer camp brought about a tremendous change in Niket. I could make out a lot of changes in him. So then I thought, okay, let me enroll for a full day program at our Space Foundation. And, that was from 9:30 to 4 o'clock. That was the only time wherein, he was there in the safest hands. And I used to have some time for myself, apart from my household activities. So in fact, Gayatri Anand also asked me, what is it that you want to do for yourself? And I said, like, I want to visit Kailash Mansarovar. I said, yeah, go ahead, why not? and we will take care.
Probably I'll join with you. Even I
Yeah.
wanted to go somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
that's what happened. And, and of course, my husband's support. So, and, I went, it was 12 days, Kailash Mansarovar Parikrama. So that's how, I started pulling out some time for myself. And Niket, of course, our developmental psychologist here, Harini Srinivasan, so who's also a trustee in our Space Foundation. So it was like, a blind man all of a sudden, getting vision. That's how it was there. And I started volunteering, in our space. And on the whole, the environment was too good for my son as well as for myself. And sometime around February 2020 timeframe, don't know what exactly went wrong with my son, wherein he had other kind of issues, wherein I used to take him by two-wheeler, sometimes by four-wheeler, and then by auto. He used to literally get down right in the middle of the road, okay, in the signal. And the stimming issues started popping up. In fact, it was there but pretty much under control. But this
Sorry for sorry for interrupting. What did you
yeah,
say? What issues?
stimming issues,
What is
like
that?
something like they see the sand and they start doing this.
Okay.
This is what is called stimming. Okay.
Okay.
So he used to get down right in the middle of the road and start stimming, play with that, and something used to really he used to enjoy that kind of an activity. And I used to force him and try to bring him back home. And that became extremely challenging for me, commuting. Before that, I used to take him everywhere independently. In fact, he was very fond of treks, and we used to take him to pilgrimages, to Chardham Yatra, Yamunotri. He used to trek. And the one thing is, he has a strong passion for music. My son, though he was a
Nice.
non-verbal. See, the thing is, he doesn't verbalize, and everything is need based, but he loves music. The moment you play Vishnu Sahasranamam, everything is on his fingertips. So that was his strength. I used to take
That's
him
nice.
everywhere. But then it so happened around this January, February timeframe, all of a sudden this kind of an issue popped up. We really didn't know how to address. And even during midnight, for that matter, a couple of accidents have happened wherein he used to sit under the shower and he started eating the soap and the soap powder and what else and what not. Trust me, almost like 4 hours he was under the shower. So by God's grace, nothing happened to him. So like that, these were the things that I really didn't know how to handle. And then that was a time wherein Gayatri Anand told me that he's literally manipulating you, and he needs, apart from the regular therapies that we are providing, so he needs a more of open space. Okay. So, and he has to interact with his peer group. And why don't you think of a residential program, a full-fledged residential program? So till then, of course, I was hardly paying attention to my elder son. It was like almost 5 years difference between my elder one and my little one. And I could hardly spend time with him. So Gayatri told me, this is the time wherein you have to pay some focus and attention to your elder son as well. So please enroll him for a residential program. So I knew, whatever she says, it is for our good. And but for the mother child separation, that was the best thing that I did to him that particular point of time. By then, the COVID was at its peak, the pandemic had started. So I thought, okay, I had to take this decision. And of course, my husband also, was extremely supportive, and my elder one too. So then we enrolled him for a full-fledged residential program in Buddhi Residential School. So because of the pandemic, unfortunately, the school where he was, that closed. So and parents were literally confused, and children were regressing. And it was a women-run organization also, and a couple of women were the breadwinner of the family. So they didn't have salaries, they didn't know how to go about. And parents also, they approached Gayatri. They said, "Ma'am, why don't you start something all by yourself?" So that was the time when We Nurture Foundation was born in June 2020. So, and I used to volunteer, as I said, I was volunteering in our space. So Gayatri told me, see, this is a very good opportunity. Before you were only with your son, now you will see so many children, around you. Why don't you come? Let's do something together for the children. I said, yes, definitely. And two more trustees, as I told you, in We Nurture Foundation, Harini Srinivasan, who was there before. And she is the program head. She's in charge of the early intervention program in We Nurture Foundation, and another trustee by name Gauri Shivakumar, who's her special educator herself, and she is a mother of a special needs child. So currently, the child is with We Nurture Foundation.
That is
Yeah.
something great
Yeah.
that you're doing towards society. We really appreciate your work. But I would like to know, I mean, I had few questions in my mind with
Mhm.
respect to the origin part.
Yeah.
I have about three questions. So the
Okay.
first one is when you went to that function, your cousin's whatever function it was.
Mhm.
So when a lady came up all of a sudden and told you that there is something unpleasant in your child and it has to be addressed, how, as a mother, how did you take it up?
I was really devastated, honestly devastated. I just couldn't accept. I knew there was a problem, but I didn't know that there was, this intense that I have to really do something about it. So, just like any other parent, I was devastated.
So did you immediately accept that, or did you took some time to accept it? Like what gave you that faith to accept that yes, this there is something and I need to address it? When did you really accept the fact?
See, with a heavy heart, of course, I don't say I accepted the fact, but then, I was little proactive. I thought, okay, what's the next course of action? So just because, like, I feel that everything is fine, all is well with my son, I didn't just, keep quiet and relax. So a lot of, therapies, as I told you, apart from the mainstream school. So I used to take him to the sessions, the therapy sessions, the assessments, and everything, whatever possible.
Do you think that for any parent who
Mhm.
has similar challenges should be supported by institutions like you and people like you, and don't I mean, do you suggest for parents who are in the same boat to be more to more open minded and accept the reality and work towards betterment, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
what we all look forward to, right? I mean,
that's right.
is that what you're trying to say? Like we should be proactive, and we should first of all accept the fact and come out of our strong embedded beliefs and work on what is required for the child. Is that what you mean when you
Yeah,
say
of course.
acceptance?
See, one thing is like, you would definitely find tremendous progress in the child when there is acceptance from the parents, especially the mother. Okay.
Right,
So,
right.
something which is not right, we'll have to address it, take it up.
Correct. Yeah.
What is the next course? See, it has happened. There is no undo in this. But what is
Correct.
it that you're going to do for your child? So,
Yes.
moment you start thinking in that direction, that is the first step, towards progress.
Yes. And
Okay.
one more question. Um, so when you say early intervention,
Mhm.
so um, there is there could be situations wherein parent they go on a guilt trip. So what are the suggestions you have for them? Like for example, some parents take it upon themselves and say, oh, this could be because of me, I did this, it's because of the gene, it's because of my gene and all that. What is your suggestion for parents like them?
Certainly not. I don't agree with this. See, as I told you, there is absolutely no problem with, be it my husband's side or my side. So this is first of its kind. And definitely we should not hold ourselves responsible. As I told
Responsible.
you, he's my
Yeah.
little one. And I thought he would just grow up just like my elder one. So I don't say I was like, I had no idea of what autism was, what ADHD was all about. So,
Right.
this awareness is something which has to be created in the society. That is the need of the hour.
Right.
So many are
Right.
not aware about the situation. It could also be from the family, maybe our grandmothers and grandparents or whoever. They would say the moment the child doesn't speak, the milestones are not up to the mark. So what they say is it could be because of your aunt or uncle, who started verbalizing at the age of 4 or 5. You wait and wait and still wait. So early intervention plays a vital role. In fact, during the peak COVID situation, our children were not cooperating for online therapies. So that was
Right.
the time wherein we really felt the need for a physical intervention. So we did get in touch with the MLA, the local MLA there, and we had been to the health department, Jayanagar Health Department, and we told, see, the need for therapies, the physical intervention is very much required for our children. He said, see, you can't close the hospitals. So what would have
Correct.
happened to the patients, during the COVID time? So even
Correct.
this is something, which has to be taken as one of the essential services, and kindly grant us the permission, and we would definitely follow at most safety protocols and see that, because ultimately the safety of the children and the health of the children, the overall, development of the children was required. So that was something which we were very particular. And I think maybe it could be God's grace, but for the divine intervention, perhaps nothing would have happened. So
That is something really great. You guys are doing a noble job. So that advice is very important for parents, because generally what they do is they take it upon themselves and they deteriorate. They do not realize that the child is dependent on them. No parent will wish ill for their own child, so
that's
it
right.
naturally it is not their fault.
Mm,
Naturally it is not their fault. So they should stop going on a guilt trip and more, take it practically and think on, what we can do to
mm,
better the situation. So
correct.
that is a fantastic suggestion.
And
And
easier said than done, I also say that. So
yeah,
it is
yeah,
very
definitely.
difficult, so the moment the mother especially realizes there's something unpleasant with the child, it's not an easy thing to accept. I mean, it's very, you can say, okay, you do this and that, but no, they need someone whom they can vent out their frustration, or share their thoughts and feelings. So that is the
Correct.
time wherein counseling comes into picture. So
Yes,
we provide
yes,
free counseling services at our center to understand mothers. So me, from a
yes.
management perspective, and as a parent, I can understand how the journey is with parents, and especially mothers.
Yes, definitely. So that is actually something which is challenging forever. So I think we have come up with a lot of solutions for this, right? I mean, you guys should have come up with a lot of solution in amidst counseling and having testimonials of previous counseling, so you understand parents better.
That's
You
right.
understand
Exactly.
when you have counseling session, you understand their core need and how they feel towards the situation. So it is, I can see that it is a collective effort from
Exactly.
parents, from teachers, from the institution,
Hmm.
in fact the child, in fact the
Very
child too,
true.
because so it should always be a collective effort. Only then you can actually groom in the child according to the whatever age group they belong to. That is a
Correct.
fantastic suggestion that you've given. So Lakshmi, and what do you do in this institution, and how do you work here? Like, what exactly do you do?
See, we handle children with developmental delays, okay? The autistic kids, the ADHD children, basically, and the global developmental delays. So, our program is like, we have three different programs incorporated under the same umbrella. So, we provide speech therapy, occupational therapy, and the behavioral intervention, okay? So, our program goes like this: early intervention program. So, we are affiliates of the Comdeal Trust. I'm sure most of you would have heard about the Comdeal. Pratibha Karan ma'am, she has been the founder of the Comdeal Trust, and the head office is in HRBR layout. So the way she has worked with children, as young as 1 year and above, the toddlers, what you call it as. So that has been really, really incredible. Okay, so what we do is like, early intervention plays a vital role. So you catch them young. Chances of them, integrating to a mainstream school would be higher. And we don't label a child, when the child is as young as 1 year. You cannot say, whether the child is autistic or has some other related issues. So first and foremost, never label the child. Okay,
Yes,
so we
yes.
provide all the therapies. So it's not just the individual sessions that we cater to. We do have the group sessions also. Like totally there are 24 children divided into two batches, and we are based out of second phase JP Nagar. Okay, and everything is like, the thing is, there is very good coordination amongst the therapists. So it is not just that it is taxing for the parents. Each and every therapist can give their own ideas and suggestions. Okay, there may be some concern as far as the speech, is concerned, and then maybe some sensory issues with the child. So that coordination is very important, to take the child to the next level. So that's about the early intervention program. You catch them young, chances of them, integrating to the mainstream school is really high. Okay,
Right.
and of course we do have a Kinder Bridge program. So this Kinder Bridge program is a school readiness program. So some kids who are done with the early intervention, of course, there are a couple of children, immediately after the early intervention, they get integrated to the mainstream school. But there are a handful of kids, some hand holding is required. So they shouldn't go to a
Yes.
mainstream and get lost there. So a little bit of, therapies, all the therapies have to be catered to the child. And but apart from that, the academics, so the prime focus here is the academics. Okay, so
Yes.
tuning the child, preparing the child for a normal school is our prime focus area in the Kinderbridge program. Okay,
Yes.
and
You have,
then
you formulate these, the lessons and activities according to the need of the child, right?
yes, of course, it's customized
Every
as per
child,
the need of the child. That's
each
right.
child has different needs. They're not
Exactly.
labeled under an apex, like a diagnosis, right? Each child has different needs. So you will formulate the syllabus and activities according to that requirement.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. So we have individual sessions and of course the group, therapies, which is very much required because they have to socialize, with their peers. So that is there. And uh, of course, the extended learning program is for the older children, 6 years and above. Up to 11 years is currently, what we are handling. And
Right.
wherein those kids definitely, I mean, you can expect them to, reach a certain level. So we
Right.
train children to become independent, as far as the older kids are concerned.
Right.
So introduce them to activities of daily living. So what you call it as ADLs and, pre-vocational training. And this is what
Right.
we
Right.
are.
So
Yeah.
you have physical tools also, like to give them in the activities and such things,
Yes, of
right?
course. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah. We have
have
lot
other.
of materials with with us, and of course, like I'm sure you must have heard about the PEX, the Picture Exchange Communication System, PEX. So we introduce them. They understand things better when it is more visual. So these visual
Correct.
kids. So the kids, the early intervention children, so they wouldn't have been completely potty trained, and some come, when we enroll the child, they are in diapers, so we wean them off, with diapers. That's the initial thing that we really focus on. Okay, the potty training. So of course, initially the sitting tolerance is the, any child for that matter, the child can get into a learning mode if he or
Yes.
she has sitting tolerance. So that's
Yes.
something which we initially, work with the children, and then the potty training. So slowly we wean them off, of diapers. And some kids, they also have these, issues wherein the moment they see the Western commode, they are little skeptical about the depth. Okay, so that
Right.
may also be one of the reason wherein, they don't want to use the commode, for the potty. uh, we try to, in fact, like we do have social stories also for children.
Right.
Have to prepare the child, come up with a lot of social stories. Never deprive them. You have to take them to functions. Say for example, a parent comes and says next week there is a family wedding that is coming up. Okay, so what we
Correct.
do is, see, we are verbal, we exchange information, we talk, we converse, what else and what not. So you can just imagine yourself going to an alien country and you're totally lost. So that's what happens with our children. So we introduce them to social stories. We say, okay, this is what you can expect. This is the dress you're going to wear. Look, your aunt will be there. You go there, you have to sit down and, observe everything. And, everything in the form of pictures. So
Right. Right.
children understand better. And of course, the schedule, you have to tell them this is the time, morning, you have to wake up and your brushing time, time to go to school, and then your
Right. So they
studies.
just pick it up, right? Like after some, practice, they just pick it up. It's not that, they. It's. I would like to ask you a question here. Like, How do you think empathy plays a role here?
Empathy with children?
Yes, sometimes like I have heard, and in fact seen sometimes. So as you said, I'll take your example of child feeling, it has that fear of depth when the child sees the commode.
Hmm.
So um like we have to empathize with the child, because for us it is, it is easy for to tell them, okay, just sit down, it's just commode, nothing else. But
That's right.
yeah, but empathizing, so it is from empathy that we understand the children, right?
Correct, correct. So
Yeah, so
instead of
how
talking
empathy
about the
plays a role here. Yeah.
see, instead of talking about the don'ts, say you don't do this. If you do this, this will happen. So instead of having those do's and don'ts, it's better to say, why not doing it this way? Let us try, demonstrate.
You mean to say more from a positive affirmation,
Correct, correct,
and
exactly.
not really confining them with do's and don'ts.
That's right. So you just treat them normal, just like any neurotypical children.
Yes, yes. In
They
fact,
need that.
I would,
Mhm.
when you just said we have to change our tone from do's and don'ts to positive. I think we all
Exactly.
require that, not just those children.
That's true. Very true.
We all require that, and just imagine people telling us do this, don't do this. In
I
fact,
know.
we wouldn't like it. So
Correct.
that's why I'm talking.
So-called normal people, like, if we can't
Like,
accept, how do you expect our children to understand?
yeah, in fact adults like us, even like like you take my example of, I'm having a mother who is
Mhm.
a CKD patient, and if I go and tell her do this, do that, she doesn't accept it. She has, you know she, in fact, we show them compassion, love, and instead of using these negative affirmations, more from a positive affirmation, if we say, I think it will definitely change the entire world,
Correct,
not
correct,
just children like them, but it just changes the entire world.
correct. So
So
we work
this,
on the socio-emotional skills of children. So that's very important.
yes, yes, yes. So this takes me to the next question, which is associated with the same, explanation. So how do you think these kids are accepted or not accepted in Indian, scenario, like in our society? And how do you? I mean, you have counseled many parents. Like, how do you think it is difficult or not difficult to really make them understand, the parents?
Hmm.
What is your experience in that?
See, first and foremost, parents have to understand that there is nothing called perfect or imperfect in this world. Okay,
Right.
so we all come with our own set of drawbacks. Okay,
Yes.
so and never give heed to anybody's ideas or thoughts. So I don't say totally refrain from the society. That's not the thing. Treat our children normal. Don't deprive them of getting the benefits of out of any neurotypical children. So take them to the functions. No matter who says what, we know what is best for the children, for our kids. So I would say that don't give heed to the society. Do what is
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Okay, do
Yes.
what is right for the child. And the
Yes.
same thing happened with me also. Like, I used to take him on group tours. It was all that Tirthayatra and group tours and all that. He was the youngest
Yes.
yatri there.
Yeah.
So, and there, of course, we do get comments, and I used to take him to the park and all that. And obviously, couple of boys around, they used to pull around Niket and say, "Oh, look at that boy, he's mad." I've heard such things also. He's mad. Look at him, the way he's laughing. It's so weird. But please, I would definitely say parents never ever give heed to all those comments. So we know
Right.
what our child is. They are very, very divine.
Yes. Yes, actually, they understand, everything. It's not that they do not understand or anything, but
Yes,
they
yes.
just need that push and that support.
Correct.
With physical and mental activities. It's just that it's like ignition, like you ignite that fire in them, and they will
Mhm.
take it forward. They will
Right.
take it forward. They understand it. It just needs
Mhm.
some practice and time for them to understand how things work.
Yeah, and never
So
pass negative comments, in front
yes,
of them. Don't
yes,
talk about your child with anybody for that matter. Say, see, this
yeah,
is what he did. There's something wrong with him. We
yes,
think kids
yes,
don't understand, but these children are extremely sensitive.
yeah. They
That
observe a
comes
lot.
out, yeah, it comes out in the form of behavior.
Yes, yes. In fact, for everybody, I think we have to be with the, I mean, as you said, the tone is the same for everyone. If we
Yes,
change
yes.
our tone, I think we will, from the basic level of family, we will change the entire world.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is the need of the hour, in fact.
Correct. And get the entire family involved, with our
Yes, in the
special needs.
activity.
So
Yeah.
that is there,
So how
including the
did
sibling.
Yes, and when you said your elder son
Mhm.
also supported, like how did he manage to support your younger one, and how was like what are the challenge you faced with your elder son? Like there is a different chemistry between siblings, right? So
That's
how
right.
did you establish that cooperation, and how did you make him understand, and how did he cooperate?
So there was absolutely no rocket science in this. So to be very honest, and I'm really blessed to have such wonderful children, be it my elder son or my little one. So the moment my elder one, realized that there is, he is not like his brother. So that was a time, he became very. My elder son became totally independent. Okay, so he used to handle, as far as like his studies were concerned, everything, handle everything all by himself. And when I used to sit with my little one for activities, so not necessary it has to be a full-fledged activity. Okay, introduce him
So
to
you
maybe
mean to say
Montessori.
the entire family was
Family was
involved
involved, yeah, yeah.
involved in the activities, and supporting him with everything, right? I
That's
mean,
right.
the entire family should be involved. It has to
That's
be
right.
involved.
Mhm.
As I said, it's a collective effort, right?
Correct. And my little one
Yeah.
used to listen to my elder one, more than me for that matter. So in
I
fact,
think yeah, I think they develop, I mean, by time they develop that chemistry, like that bond, I mean, the bond will be so strong, actually.
correct, correct.
Yeah. So I would like to know, like today being, I mean, one of the Navratri days, I would like to know who or which women inspired you in your, in this career.
uh, my managing trustee and founder, Gayatri Anant. So she was the
Okay.
one who inspired me. I don't say just inspiration. She is goddess to me, I don't know.
Okay.
I just regard her, goddess in human form. When I was like totally devastated, it was just not me alone, my
Right.
husband. No, on the whole,
Right.
like, the entire family, we really
Mm.
didn't know how to go about. So she just came as a goddess in my life.
Yeah. I mean,
And
we should
what
all
I
thank.
was versus now.
Yeah, we should all thank the divine, because there is a right alignment process. Like
Correct,
he
correct.
knows, the divine knows what we need when.
That's
So
right.
yeah, so I really convey my regards to her for that. Yeah.
Certainly. So next
Yeah.
session, perhaps, my trustees also will be a part of.
Definitely, definitely. We would like to know more from her, her experiences. Like
Yeah.
we are having your, like we know your experience. We would like to know her experience too. Thank
Correct.
you.
I was like a
Thank
kook manduk. So I thought
I
this
mean,
is my
we
world.
all are. We
Let's
all
promote her.
are. We
She,
all are in some or the other things. We all are. It's not
yeah.
just you. It's just that acceptance and receptiveness. Okay, this is the fact, and we have to work on it, and better the situation. Basically, nobody likes to live in the same situation. We have to better it. Like we have to see changes, positive changes. Even a small step towards betterment is is hope for the bigger
Exactly.
betterment. Yeah.
Right.
So this again, this leads to the next question. Would you like to share any success stories with your viewers today in
Yeah, of
this
course.
career? Yeah,
Yeah. So those children,
we are all excited to listen to your success story, because this is one field where you get that satisfaction when
Mhm.
you see that improvement in a child, and when you see the that charm in the in child. So please explain the success story to us.
Yeah. So those kids who were enrolled in the early intervention program. So as I told you, we never label the child. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
kids who had no eye contact, not responding to name, and literally lost in their own world. Okay. Just
right,
in a short
right,
span of time, I could say, like, maybe 3 or 4 months, we used to make out tremendous change in these kids. Okay.
right.
And
Mm.
there are so many who have been integrated to a mainstream school. So that is
Right, right.
something which I just wanted to bring in front of you all. And
Yeah.
there was a child who was like totally non-verbal,
Hmm.
and trust me, the child appeared for an interview in Purna Pramati school, cleared everything, and now the child is there in the Purna Pramati. So he's doing very well there. And
Yeah.
another child who had to join, his father, like, mother was there in Bangalore. So they had to get relocated to Dubai. So this child, after the early intervention and, of course, the preschool readiness program, appeared for the interview there in a normal school and got selected there. So that is one thing. So what
Yeah.
else can be,
When
you
you
know,
see when you see the smile on your face, I can sense the I can see that sense of fulfillment in you. So that is a great thing. That is a very noble thing that you have achieved actually.
and for
So
older children also, sorry to interrupt you.
yeah,
So for
yeah.
older
Go
kids
ahead.
as well, so we provide what you call as a puberty education, a handful of girls who are there. So those kids, who have no idea about what puberty is all about, it's quite obvious,
Right,
So
right.
in such children, you can make out a lot of changes in them.
Right, right. So, my next question would be like, I would like to know your biggest challenge in this project, because every project has its own pros and cons, but
Mhm.
here it's more because the external effort has to be little slightly more than other institutions and in the other activities. So, what is your biggest challenge in this project?
Yeah. There is a lot of space crunch. Okay. So right now we don't have our own, building, our own infrastructure. So there are two units. So of course the registered, unit is in second phase JFP Nagar, and about 500 meters from there we have another unit, unit two for the older children. So space being a major constraint. So, perhaps we can, support many families. Right now there are only 50 children, okay, in both the units. So we want to reach out to as many families as possible. So it's not like, unlike the mainstream schools wherein you have a classroom with 30 children, 40 children and a single teacher, but that concept cannot be incorporated here. Okay, so space is a major constraint. So that's one thing. And secondly, of course, the funds here. Okay, so we are self-sustained right now. And a couple of them we do take fees, because we have to run the show. Okay.
Right. How are you
Our
managing that? I mean, how are you managing finances, and how do, like, if you need support, financial support, how do you think general public or like people who are ready to, support you, like, how do you think you need the support for, I mean, financially, like, how do you think people can support you?
Yeah. See, for 50 kids, we are 22, including trustees, staff. You can imagine almost like double, 1:2. Okay.
Right,
So we have to obviously do justice to our therapists also. Okay.
right,
So the salaries comes into picture. And secondly, there are two units. So for the rent itself, like, since I handle the finance too, the total expenses per month, it is 8 lakhs, 8 to 8.5 lakhs, and we are planning to recruit two more, a speech pathologist and an occupational therapist. So that would almost come up to 9 lakhs easily. Okay, so
right,
we do take fees from parents who can definitely afford, but there are few of them who approach us and express their inability to pay the fees. So we don't deny admissions just because they cannot afford. So we
right.
welcome everyone, so that the children are not deprived, of the therapies. So
Correct, correct.
again, we have to run the show. It's not an easy
Yes.
thing. Like, ultimately we have to sustain, right? So
Right,
sustenance is much required. And recently we got the ATG. Okay, and in fact, we have not worked on it. So trying to, I'm right now, I'm networking in a couple of groups and all that to see how best I can raise funds for the organization, so that
Right.
whatever benefits we get, one, definitely we can transfer the benefits to the parents. Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
that's one thing. And secondly, we need our own infrastructure, so it is not just for many kids also. And one more thing is, like, we do conduct parent workshops. Okay,
Okay.
it's not just parents come and drop the children and then they go back, and see, that is there, they need their own time. But whatever the therapies or any academic, it could be academics or whatever, we work with the children, the same thing has to be applied at home. Okay, so we
Right.
have to be on the same page, that is pretty much required. So here you tune them, and then once they go back home, they are all by themselves, so that
Correct.
shouldn't. And parents, they need some kind of what do you say, some knowledge transfer from ours, from us. So workshops plays a vital role, starting from
So
the.
you mean to say there is through these workshops you give that extension of what
Correct.
you do in the
Yeah,
institution uh, till I mean extended till home, so that they are also equipped with the same pattern of teaching, so that the teaching
exactly.
doesn't differ and the child doesn't get confused with two different
Correct.
teachings. So
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
is that is the need of the hour actually.
Yeah, see,
So a lot of
behavioral intervention. So that's something
yes,
which every parent, really, find it difficult how to handle the children.
yes,
So behavioral
yes.
intervention, and
But
of
and
course,
moreover, not all parents are like some of them, they understand it like by themselves, the need of the child, but most of them in fact require that extension. And they, you guys, like through workshops you're doing this, great thing actually. So that they are also given that knowledge of like how to do, what to do with respect to
Mhm.
homework, with respect to activities.
That's
So
right.
that is something great. That
It's
is
not
something
just workshops alone, okay? We have the parent demonstration sessions wherein, we allocate slots for the parents. They can come down, and to the center. They can be a part of the therapies. So they have to understand how exactly we work with children, okay? So parent
right.
demonstrations and then observation. Or, I mean, sorry, parent observation and demonstrations. So then
Okay.
later we ask the parents to come and demonstrate. So,
Okay.
and then in case if there are any, concerns, we discuss with them and say, see, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So when that is
Okay.
very important, we have to
So you,
handhold parents.
yeah, you guide them and handhold them throughout,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
That's
that
right.
is that makes your job easier. Like when the parent is receptive and they also contribute in the betterment of the child. So that
Exactly.
gives more. It's like value added to
That's
the,
right.
yeah. So
And also,
um,
conducting parent workshops has become little, challenging. All everybody, together. So what we do is, we have to have two sessions, separate sessions, because for 50 children, even if both turn up, you can expect about 70 or 80. So we don't
right,
have enough space to accommodate all parents. So
right.
actually, we have converted the garage area into the workshop space for
Yes, yes.
parents. Yeah.
And this takes us to the next question. What is your long-term vision here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want to have our own training center, okay, for our therapists, because they have to be, updated, right? So that's one thing. And secondly, generate our own therapists, okay. So given the current situation, just to give you an example, occupational therapists. So we are planning to recruit an occupational therapist, and trust me, we received close to 120 CVs, okay. And from that, we could hardly pick a handful, you know which would suit our requirement. So then we felt, okay, so we can also spread our wings, by training and coming up with quality therapists. So that's pretty much required. So,
Right.
and of course, the right now we have children only up to 11 years. So what next is a question mark, right? So we are also planning, for a vocational training center, and in future maybe the residential program. So we have a lot of things in our bucket. So for
Right.
everything, the big question mark is funds.
Yeah. So that is something, it was a very good suggestion with respect to, the strength of the parent and everything, like whatever, the parent has to do with the child, and the educator, how they contribute to the betterment of the child. So, yeah, here we come to almost the end of the session. So, is there anything to tell your viewers, like, is there anything for you to share with the viewers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the toughest role is given to the best actor. Okay, so we are all best actors. So let's handle our children. And, there should be an awareness created in the society. So most of them are not, see, as long as my family is fine, I am happy. So
Right.
that awareness is, to be created in the society. So we are also working towards that. In fact,
Yes.
during the autism month we had a road show, wherein all our staff, so we went and tried to promote, create more awareness, about what autism is all about. So like this, we are also planning to have a lot of such programs, awareness
Yeah.
programs. And of course the government should shake hands with us. So in
Yes.
case if government officials can come forward, to promote this, it could be, the clubs or any social media. So
Yes.
all we need is support from the society. So,
Yes.
we are all socially responsible. It's a social responsibility. Each one should understand.
Right. So here I would like to tell you that so I have my own YouTube channel. So
Hmm.
wherein it's called Mind Reboot. So I'm a special educator too. So I will be talking on psychology and everything with respect to mental health, wellness. So I would like to invite you for one of the
Thank you very
sessions,
much, Vijay
so
Lakshmi.
wherein you spread your words to more and more
Mhm.
people, and I'll make sure that more and more parents are have this awareness. And I'm excited to have that session with you, because lot of parents need this. A lot of parents are
Certainly.
looking forward to handhold them, and they're just confused and they're stuck somewhere. They do not know what to do,
Correct.
whom to approach. So I would like to invite you for the session, and please give us more and more details on this on our channel, so that it reaches more and more parents.
My
And
pleasure.
let's see, there could be many more changes from then on. Let us see. Yeah.
This is my vision and my purpose of life. That's what I would say. I want to reach out to many families. So as we were like only talking about mothers, fathers too. Okay. So my
Fathers too.
husband, yes, my husband. Anybody, I can share the contact number of my husband. Any fathers for that matter, you can come. Call up anytime. And we live in Girinagar, so you can visit us. We will visit you. So let's continue this journey. With a positive attitude. So
Yes.
once we are positive, the same vibrations, will be shifted to our children as well. So that is the
Yes.
key word here. Let's be positive and take things forward.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Lakshmi. It was a fantastic session with you. All of us, we are, we have this gist of what you do and everything. We'll be talking to you more on my channel, which is Mind Reboot, our YouTube channel.
Mhm.
So we'll see, like, please give us more education, I mean the knowledge on these things, and a detailed how parents can work with the educators. And so we'll see how it goes. And thank you for
Certainly,
coming
my
to
pleasure.
the session. And thank you, When India, for giving both of us this
Thank you very much, When
opportunity.
India.
Thank you,
Really, I
Vandita.
owe a lot to When India, for
Yes,
giving
yes,
me such a wonderful platform to express my
yes,
thoughts and
yes.
my feelings and what else and what not.
Yes, thank you, Vandita. Thank you, Sejal. Thank you, Team Ven. And we will meet you in the next session, that is tomorrow at 4 p.m. So happy Dasara again. Thank
Happy
you, Vanita.
Dasara. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.